Hey everyone, welcome back. So today we are talking about a chapter of O-level biology which is nutrition and transport in plants. It's a very vital chapter and I'm combining the ideas of nutrition and transport because a lot of ideas are overlapping really. So for an overview, imagine a plant with its roots, its stem and leaves. You can see the roots have root hair. This is where the water and ions are absorbed. The process that works here is diffusion, active transport, and osmosis. Diffusion and active transport are terms for the movement of ions, and then osmosis allows the movement of water. Once this water comes inside, along with the ions, it goes towards the xylem, and then xylem helps the movement of water and ions up towards the leaves eventually. From the leaves, carbon dioxide gases are absorbed from the atmosphere again by the process of diffusion. In the coming video, we'll be talking about the leaf structure in very detail, so we'll see how it happens. When light falls on these leaves, they already have chloroplast in them. So what happens is that carbon dioxide, which is diffusing in, and water, which comes from the xylem, they combine in the presence of chlorophyll to make glucose molecules and oxygen gas. Oxygen is our byproduct here. So during the daytime, oxygen is produced, which is released outside. That is why having plants around is really good for us, because we inhale oxygen. The glucose which has been made recently converts to sucrose and then transported downwards through the phloem. The phloem helps in the movement of all the sugar molecules in the form of sucrose, and then a lot of sucrose is finally stored inside the roots itself. Let's talk about the roots in detail. When we talk about the structure of roots, we need to dissect a root to see what's inside. You will see various different tissues inside the root, which I have showed here. You can see this very detailed diagram has all the tissues. You can see root hair cells, which are basically epidermal cells, but they have an extension. All the epidermal cells do not have this extension, but periodically there are cells which are root hair cells. Underneath there is a cortex. Then you can see another layer of thick-walled cells. Those are known as the endodermis. The endodermis have a very thick wall made up of a chemical known as suberin. Then you can see xylem in the form of A+. And around the xylem, you can see there are 4 patches of phloem. Xylem has those thick lignified walls, where the lignin is present in form of spiral or rings. The ions and water which are present in the soil, they can move inside by the process of diffusion and active transport depending on the concentration gradient. So first diffusion happens when ions move from higher to lower concentration, and then active transport happens, which is requiring energy. Then finally osmosis allows the movement of water, which continues to move cell by cell through the cortex. Then finally it moves across the endodermis and then finally reaches the xylem. The xylem cells are hollow and they have a lot of inside space for movement of water in the form of a continuous column. This brings us to xylem. Let's talk about xylem a little more. You can see this diagram shows the thick walls of xylem. From the roots, the water goes inside the xylem because roots have a higher hydrostatic pressure. Roots have this higher hydrostatic pressure because they are already constantly in touch with water. On the upper side of the xylem, finally, the final destination is leaves, where there is low hydrostatic pressure because water is constantly consumed over there. So that is why water moves from a higher hydrostatic pressure to lower one. But remember, there is no osmosis going on here. We will talk about it. Few important features of xylem include that xylem vessels have these very thick walls. These walls are lignified. What do we mean by lignified walls? Lignified walls are thick and they are strong. There's a strong material known as lignin which supports the overall stem. Moving on, let's write the other feature first. That is that xylem cells are dead and hollow. Because of the lignin, the cell could not transport and function properly, so the cell dies and the inside contents are disintegrated. This allows wide space for water column. Water moves as a continuous column inside the xylem. Due to the lignified walls, this is possible. The xylem vessels die because of the lignified walls itself. Another important feature you can see over here are the pits. These are openings which allow a cell-to-cell junction. So this allows the water flow between adjacent xylem vessels. If one of the xylem vessel is blocked for some reason, the water moves to the other one. If we magnify, you can see that the lignin molecules in the xylem vessels and the water molecules which are in the water column, they have attractive forces between each other. These forces are because of a phenomena known as the hydrogen bonding. This hydrogen bonding between the water molecules and the cell wall of the xylem helps in continuous movement of water. Water moves as a continuous column, so remember there's no osmosis going on here. Osmosis means from cell to the other cell, which are living cells. This is not happening as osmosis. This is known as mass flow of water. It happens because of a phenomena known as transpiration pull. We will talk about it in the upcoming videos. Hydrogen bonding is a very important phenomenon. Hydrogen bonding provides these adhesive forces between the water molecules and the cell wall of the xylem. I hope the overall idea about xylem is clear to us, because we will be using these ideas to solve past paper questions. Stay tuned, guys. Thanks.